You know, welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. And I've been hearing a lot of things about what everybody's saying about me. And you know what? You want to hurt me? Go ahead.
Keep going. I like me.
All right. You want to hurt me? Go ahead. If it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. But I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
Very good, Del.
I was so excited to get to those parts of
Planes,
Trains, and Automobiles. Welcome to the Grindhouse Podcast. I am Cheese Film.
And I am Hecubus.
And back there is Randy Official.
Hello.
And actually, for the first time in a whole season, we all
Yeah.
three watched the movie together.
That's right.
I watched Spaceballs.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a John Hughes movie
From 1987.
from 1987. And I want to get back to John Hughes further down
Okay.
because I was giving this movie a commentary while I was watching it, just about how it's directed. And I want to talk about John Hughes in this podcast. But it came out in 1987, and it stars Steve Martin.
Legendary Steve Martin.
I almost said Leslie Nielsen. It stars Steve Martin, the legendary, iconic comedian and banjo enthusiast.
Mhm. He's good at it,
He's
too.
very good
From
at it.
Pink Panther.
And it's not a joke.
Pink Panther. No.
It's
Yeah, it's not a joke. He
No, he
plays the
plays
banjo, he plays songs, and he plays with an ensemble, too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And John Candy. These are our two
Also
main
iconic.
guys. Yeah. Legendary, what's Joe Rogan said? The powerful John Candy stars in this movie, and I love John Candy.
John Candy's great.
I think he's great, and I think he's great in this.
And you couldn't have got two more fitting people for these two roles.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
both John Candy and Steve Martin said this is the best they have ever done.
Yeah.
And John Candy is kind of Del Griffin-y,
Mm-hmm.
and Steve Martin is kind of Neal Pagey in their actual personalities. And it really, I think it adds to it. Because they're, you could totally see having to be around either one of these people. And
It would be like that.
exactly like that, yeah.
I didn't like either one of them.
Yeah. For real?
Really?
I think they're both annoying.
Well,
As,
they're regular
personal-
people.
Well, they're
I like a
supposed
person.
to be annoying.
Yeah.
John
Each one
Candy
is
is.
supposed to be
Yeah.
annoying to the other person.
Right, it's like the odd couple.
Yeah.
One's
mean-
a slob and one's a snob.
Yeah, and we're following Steve Martin through this. Like, we are supposed to sympathize with him too, but there are points in this movie where I'm like, "Come on, guy, loosen
Yeah,
up."
seriously, lighten up.
Yeah, it's not A, that big a deal, and B, he's just being nice to you.
Yeah.
Like farther on, yeah, okay, he can
Whoa.
stop.
Farther on. And he lights the car on fire and that kind of stuff. Did you put the poster, got the pictures ready to go there?
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to make some honorable mentions in this cast list because they have a lot of Easter egg cameo actors in this, such as Kevin Bacon, right in the beginning. We got Michael McKean.
Michael McKean, who's billed fourth and is in it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah. We got Dylan Baker, Martin Ferrio. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Larry Hankin, and Ben Stein, who
Ben Stein.
yeah, he's
What is Ben Stein in this movie? I
he's
don't
the
remember seeing him.
he's like the flight has been canceled,
Oh,
and then he
okay,
smiles.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
shows up in a lot of John Hughes movies. Too.
He does.
He also just shows up in a lot of '80s movies as just the.
Because he's
This
rich.
guy.
He can do whatever he wants.
I think he was like an actual professor or something. Like he
He was an
actual
economic person, and he really does have a bunch of money. In that game show, Win Ben Stein's Money, you were really winning Ben Stein's money. And it's weird, yeah.
But yeah, so this movie does have a lot of It's like a roulette cast is what I would.
Yeah.
Like you spin a wheel and oh my god, there's Rob.
Well, other
Kevin
John
Bacon.
Hughes movies. This is the kind of his departure movie from the Brat Pack stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and all those guys were in all those movies together, playing different people all the time. It's, hey, you got something good, you might as well stay with it.
Yeah, of course. And so that'll take us into the plot. So,
Well,
unless you have any opening things you'd like to comment on.
yeah, this Steve Martin started off writing for the Smothers Brothers,
Mhm.
and then he had a kind of zany stand-up career. Then when he started making movies, they were movies that were like his stand-up, like The Jerk and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. And then after that, he made Pennies in Heaven, which was a flop. And then Roxanne, he came back with. I think Roxanne was next, or All of Me was, where they're a little more, I don't know, subdued. They're still funny, but they're not. It's not like The Jerk.
Yeah.
That is just he's stupid, or like The Man with Two Brains, and that kind of stuff. It's not. They were more. I don't know. I guess mainstreamy. Like more people, broader audience could get it. Because if you don't like that kind of stuff, you're not going to like The Man with Two Brains. You know what I mean? Even though that has a great line in it, where he walks in and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's a brain surgeon. And then he's like, "We're shaving her for surgery. This is a brain operation. What's that supposed to be, a heart?" It's Valentine's Day. So that kind of humor is not in this. And he's more like everything else you've seen Steve Martin in.
Yeah.
Up into including Only Murders in the Building. Have you ever seen any of that?
No.
It's all right.
But have you seen Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
Yeah.
He's kind of
See, like
goofy
that,
in
you could be goofy, but they're con artists.
Right.
So
You
it's
have
not
fun
really the
with it.
same. Yeah.
And I made a note here. These two comedians can be very zany and goofy,
Absolutely.
playing to the slapstick, and neither one of them are a comedian in this movie.
No, not at all.
Neither one of them are trying to be a funny guy.
No.
Neither one of them are trying to one-up or to have quick liners or anything like that. They're not hogging the spotlight.
They do kind of do that, though. We'll get into that.
That was my biggest problem with this movie.
Is that
What?
they're not trying
Is
to
it
be funny?
wasn't funny at all.
Well, it is funny. I was
it's
laughed out loud.
situationally funny.
Humorous.
Yeah.
But it's not like, I don't know. I think Spaceballs is funnier
Listen.
than this movie.
All right. I was saving this for the part where they're frozen in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Tom with the pictures.
Got it.
And they're driving down the road, and Steve Martin says, "What do you think the temperature is?" And he goes, 1. 1. That's hilarious.
That is funny. But like,
There was another part, too. I was laughing.
Or every
laughed-
time he's got a friend somewhere.
Yeah.
I sold them shower curtains. Like
Shower curtains.
that's the who's giving people favors because you got a good shower curtain.
Yeah, right.
Or curtain hooks.
And
not
they
even
do,
the
though.
curtain. It's just curtain hooks. And they do. Every
Yeah.
single person he calls
Shows
shows
up
up.
for him. John Candy was in SCTV, the classic Canadian comedy show.
Mhm.
And Uncle Buck, Stripes, a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
right
he
up
was-
until he
he's
died.
everywhere. And he was in a lot of
He's in JFK.
yeah, he's kind of a character actor.
Yeah.
In more ways than just being a caricature.
Right.
He really does kind of disappear into his roles. I found every
Yeah,
single
every
thing he's
single
doing,
one.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe him as Uncle Buck. I believe him as Barf. I believe him as Dill.
Dell.
And he's a good actor. And it's kind of fun thing to note on. This is kind of based on true events.
Yeah,
where,
kind of.
John Hughes really did take a plane to Chicago from New York.
Yeah.
Got misdirected into.
Right. Like Omaha or something. Something
yeah.
weird, some way out of the plane.
I think it might have been like Milwaukee or what.
Yeah.
Wherever they actually go, where he actually went to.
Yeah.
And he was stranded for like 3 days.
Yeah.
So in a fun roundabout way, this movie's based on a true story.
Yeah, it is. And one of those things I was teasing you about earlier then, the original cut was 4 hours long.
Oh wow. Oh my god.
And it had a different ending. And I guess it was kind of a downer ending, more so. And he wanted it to be uplifted. So at the end, when you see Steve Martin smiling about stuff and stuff, he didn't know he was being filmed. That was all Steve Martin really. He's looking out the window and being
Just
amused.
smiling.
Yeah, and smiling and stuff.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
That's really cool.
I don't think I'd want to see the 4-hour version of this, but I'd like to know what they didn't put in.
I would too. I think it'd be cool to see like I don't know. Maybe I would like to watch the 4-hour cut, and you watch it once because there's no way you can tolerate this kind of movie for 4 hours.
Yeah, really.
Because it's an hour and a half, and you're like Michael Keaton and Beetlejuice said, like you get just good enough amount of it.
Yeah.
And it's not too annoying.
Right, and you leave them wanting more.
Yeah. And I think this movie does a pretty good job at that. You know,
Yeah,
like it
it
gets
does.
right there, but then it pulls back.
Yeah.
But this movie is about just an advertising man trying to go home to his family.
Right, from New York to Chicago.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Something I noticed that at the beginning of the movie, he's like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And the guy's looking at two things. What he's looking at, it says, where is it? Ibis on it. And it's a picture of a bird.
Mm-hmm.
An ibis, if you see one of those birds, it's believed to signal our harmonious relationship with one's surroundings, reflecting a sense of balance and enlightenment. The exact opposite that Neal goes through in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he just went with the flow, probably wouldn't have.
Well, he starts going with the flow, and the cab gets taken from him. He loses the foot race to Kevin Bacon. He trips over Dell's thing.
Mm-hmm.
He is totally unbalanced with his surroundings.
And I like how they set up this too, where like he trips over the trunk, and then you see that trunk, and then
And
you
his
go
face.
back, and then he like tries to get him out, and he whips over, and then they're getting on the plane together. You don't know where Dell's going. He never says that. He's just going.
He hasn't been home in years.
Well, we were saving that. That's why we didn't say it.
Sorry.
But like, why? Why is he going home? He hasn't been home in years. What's there?
Do we see
for?
what's in the case?
In his? Well, it's just closed. He
clothes and
opens
stuff.
it.
All right.
Everything's all over the first hotel room.
Okay.
It's not anything like Pulp Fiction. Where
No.
it's,
Or a head.
Yeah, he's got like his wife's in there.
Yeah.
But he's overpacked. He's kind of a terrible person to room with too.
Dell?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he got his socks in the sink.
And the underwear and stuff.
It's
Yeah,
just
everything.
everywhere. But yeah, he goes and loses his taxi, is late to his plane gets delayed, finally gets on the plane, giant snowstorm,
Yeah.
we're robbed.
First he gets bumped from his
First
first
class.
class to coach.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I never want to fly, is that kind of stuff.
Did you show the picture of him on the plane? That other guy in the picture is in Seinfeld. He's just a grumpy old man that they volunteer their time to go talk to people. And that's the guy.
That guy looked
See, that's what
familiar.
I'm saying.
That's where
like,
he's from. He's from.
It's just like it's a roulette kind of thing.
yeah,
like
it's jam packed full of stuff.
Yeah. And John Candy's just kind of basically telling Steve Martin his life story.
Yeah.
Just does not stop talking.
Until he does and falls asleep on him.
On him. Yeah, and that this basically sets up what the movie's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of like
He takes his shoes and socks off on the plane.
Like-
He's an annoying person.
you're gonna be stuck with me, and this is who I am
Yep.
for the entire length of the movie. And over the course of the movie, you kind of warm up to it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and like you kind of rooting for him in the end, both of them at the end. I kind of want to know how much of an effect this had on stuff like Tommy Boy, Black Sheep.
Yeah, right.
know
Well,
what I
it's
mean?
the same kind of just a road movie
So,
like
it's a
those.
but it's specifically with an annoying person
Yeah.
and the guy who's trying to get hit where he's going.
The straight edge guy.
Yeah. Just, Tommy Boy's what Randy probably would have rather this movie be.
Tommy Boy's
A
great.
full, well, it is. But it's a tried and true comedy.
But it's not. It doesn't take place on Thanksgiving.
No, it doesn't. And that is a cool thing that this is. It's a Thanksgiving movie. It's a Thanksgiving movie in the same way a lot of those Hallmark Christmas movies are.
Yeah, right.
You're just trying to get home for Christmas.
Right,
You're just trying to
exactly.
get home for Thanksgiving. There's a Thanksgiving pageant even. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's and this is why I wanted to bring this up. Like John Hughes you've got your lead actor, your side actor, and then your third actor, which is the city in which you're filming.
Yeah, right.
And he really, really does that. I mean, every movie he does, kind of like how Stephen King does Maine, he does Chicago.
He does do Chicago like that, but this one is more like America.
Yeah, weird.
Same with Vacation.
Yeah, you get like a full picture of what it's actually like. It's cool because it's not all, freshly cut. You don't have like the nice Southerner. You don't have the rude Northerner kind of guy. It's kind of just real people you would have met on the way.
Yeah, and it's not punching down at all either. It's not mean about it, but there is aspects of everywhere that maybe you want to get out of pretty quick, and it's not dangerous. You just want to be out of here.
Yeah. So we get to see a lot of each one of these cities we go to. We get to see a lot of New York. We get to see a lot of Missouri. We get to see a lot of, well, not a lot of Chicago, but a good bit of it. And that, I think, really, I don't know, it kept my, enthusiasm up. We're almost there. It's the final stretch kind of stuff.
Right.
But going back to it. So we get stuck in the airport, and he needs a place to stay. So he goes to this motel room. They've only got the one last bed left, and they've got to share the bed. Yeah. Which is where that monologue comes from, where I just opened this episode with. And it's really well done, and it was their Oscar moment. They had the music swelling and everything like that. Really pulling at your heart.
And then the set hotel ends with the infamous, "Where's your hand between two pillows?"
Those aren't pillows. and
he uses all of the towels.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
You got the little one left. He is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, he is. But he's got a big heart and is just a lovable guy.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah. And he keeps trying to get away from him. Neal keeps trying to get away from him, but he keeps getting sucked back into him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't always have a bad time.
No. And he knows, don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
He sees him
until he can't take it too much. Yeah, he's always picking up the other end of that trunk.
Yeah, and that's another thing that really worked, is that he's not a jerk. He's
He's uptight.
Yeah.
He's not a jerk.
Yeah. He doesn't feel he knows he's not above you.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to mingle with people.
Right. I just want to get home. That's all I want. That's all I don't want to deal with this train breaking down in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my God, too. What the?
Yeah. But when earlier when I was saying their personalities are kind of like these characters, Randy, he goes to meet a guy named Owen and his wife. That was hilarious. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But Owen's got that guy's a character actor too.
Yeah.
You've seen him in lots of stuff. He's got this big wad of chewing tobacco. And when he did this on purpose.
I got
he
this too.
He spits and shakes Steve Martin's hand. And Steve Martin, you could see that look on his face. And he's like, they got him really bad with that.
Well, John Hughes is he likes improvisational stuff.
Yeah.
And as genuine as a reaction as you can get. So he told him to do that and didn't tell Steve Martin.
Yeah.
He didn't tell. I'm glad they got it, because it's right there at the corner of the screen. He goes in for a handshake, and his whole...
Oh, man.
Because it's not just that...
no,
he's thick.
But then that's hilarious when he's like, "Get your lazy ass out of the trunk and get this trunk for these two men." And she's like,
she's small and skinny, but she's strong.
Right. And our third kid came out sideways. She didn't make a sound. Come on, Randy.
Yeah.
That part was funny.
Okay.
I was expecting
Tommy Boy. That's what you were expecting.
Kind of.
And it's not as over the top as that.
Or a Happy Gilmore, the before
you were
all
expecting
those.
a jokey comedy movie
with two
jokey
comedic actors.
comedians.
Yeah, yeah.
And what you got was more of a straight-lined.
Yeah.
Home Alone. I got Home Alone.
Speaking of Home Alone,
Yeah, hey, I thought
Neal's
you had
house is the same exact house in Home Alone.
That's why it's from. I was like, I know that house. I've seen that house before.
We used to live there.
Is that the Myers house?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's all right. That makes more sense.
As long as we're on these things, John Hughes' next movie is called She's Having a Baby, starring Kevin Bacon.
Coming out in 2025.
Huh?
In 2025.
No, after Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, what if 2025 is after 1987?
Okay. But the movie that Neal's wife is watching when she's laying in bed is She's Having a Baby. That isn't even done like being filmed and stuff yet.
This is what they had.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's why Kevin Bacon's in it. Because he's in that movie too, and he just came over and did that.
But yeah, so I guess we'll just hit on highlights because then.
Yeah. Then they're in the back of the truck and they're freezing.
Right, on their way to a train.
Yeah.
Because when in doubt, you got to train it out. And they get on the train. They kind of part ways.
Yeah.
Train
Neal is
breaks
always
down.
trying to get away from him.
Oh, yeah. He really is. And, I mean, I get it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, this guy's coming in clutch every single step of the way.
Yeah. And that's why he picks up. The train breaks down. They're like, well, you got to walk from here.
3 miles that way.
Yeah. And Dell's dragging the thing, and he just comes and picks it up when they hook up again.
Now, there are 2 things I want to draw attention to. One is at the first motel, he asks for the charge card.
Yeah.
And they show it, and then they show it being put on the counter.
Yeah. They show him switching them.
Switching it,
Yeah.
yes. They don't realize, and they never really realize.
Not until
it's
he
way
rents the
too
car,
late.
yeah.
And then they also get robbed in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And
Right.
They have no money. So it becomes a calling in favors kind of ordeal, and John Candy's got friends everywhere.
Everywhere.
And we're on the train. We walk to. They get on a bus after that, right? The bus takes them to Missouri.
I don't know if the bus is now or later, but
I
whatever.
think it is. I think it goes plane,
That's
train,
another
bus.
good part.
They start singing a song.
Yeah, they're
everybody looks at him.
John Candy's got everybody on the whole bus singing. I don't remember what the first song is, and then he's like, Neal, you do one, and he sings some 3 pennies in a. And nobody knows what the hell he's talking about. Flintstones, and then he starts singing the Flintstones, and everybody lights back up. That's the kind of people they are.
And it's situationally funny.
Yeah.
Which is really, I think John Hughes is strong.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like that.
You can really see yourself in any situation.
So go on the bus, go to Missouri where we got to rent a car.
Right.
And he's like, here's your car. We'll talk about this. The scene that got this PG movie an R rating.
Right.
He's like, all right, here's your car. Go to it.
Yeah, Stephen Martin insisted on it.
He goes to where his car should be.
Yeah.
And it's not there.
Nope.
The bus left, and he's there alone. So he's got to walk the 3 miles back to the airport.
Or the airport terminal, yeah.
Where they can rent a car again, and that lady's there.
Yep.
Which before the scene, her interactions were, he was like just kind of.
Yeah, she was improvising on the telephone.
Yeah, so even that, the last line she says, that was improvised.
Yeah.
So this is the scene that got the movie an R rating, which
right.
we can't repeat.
No, but he says the F word 18 times.
Yeah,
and that got it an R rating. Yeah,
he says it, and like you said, they insisted on it being in there, and I was like, because that never really occurred to me that what this movie's rating was, because this movie opens and it just goes. Mm-hmm. There are no opening credits. There's no title card. Well, there's the planes, trains, automobiles, and then you're in.
Yeah,
they get it out of the way and go. And I think that really sets the tone for the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not like this, here's Chicago or here's New York, here's what I'm doing, introducing both characters before the eventual meetup. You just get right into it.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't normally pay attention to that unless you are people like us who pay
Right.
attention to stuff like that. But it really does put you like that whole time. I was like, is it gonna be like an extended cold open and then like 30 minutes in we'll get our title?
Right.
You don't get anything until the very, very end.
Yeah.
And I think that it really subconsciously puts you in the we've got to go.
Yeah, and since you're not used to it, you're a little put off.
Right.
So the whole thing, they're not used to having to deal with all this kind of crap either, and you're more in their mindset too.
And it's brilliant. It's so
Yeah,
smart.
it's good.
It's so smartly done. So he gets there. He says, "My car's not there." Drops the F-bomb a bunch of times. She's like, "Where's your
receipt or
yeah.
something?
It's like, "I threw it away." And she says, "Well,
You're effed."
Yep. So he goes to talk to the taxi guy, who basically is just a giant jerk to him
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
knocks him over. Almost gets run over by who else but
Dell.
So now they've got a car. They're both going to Chicago. And we're finally, we'll be all right. We'll be okay. They're switching back, taking turns, driving.
Dell breaks the seat.
In a way that I don't understand how he broke it, because Steve Martin goes, like, it's 2 car seats just like this. And then when Steve Martin's in the seat, he's literally like on the floor. It's like, great, you broke it. But he ends up falling asleep. And Dell starts singing, "They do it a mess around," which is a great scene.
It is, and it's like used in other things.
Yeah.
That and all this stuff that comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Gave
'Cause
me
there's pictures of
anxiety.
Did it give you anxiety?
Yeah, I was like, all right, what is gonna, like, bro?
Yeah, I was thinking about you a lot watching this movie because you were watching those Family Guy Star Wars ones.
Yeah.
And this scene is referenced
Yeah,
in that.
right.
In the walker. And I was like, oh, this. I was thinking of you. Because even the opener monologue that I did, Peter does that too.
Yep, Peter does
Seth is obviously a big fan of this movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, it could be a Road to movie. Road to Chicago.
So then, he's trying
After
to
the
take his
mess
coat
around.
off,
and he
yeah.
keeps
and he
getting
gets
locked
up, and they end up spun
Spinning out.
around.
Yeah.
And Neal wakes up and he's like, "What happened? Oh, I almost hit a deer," or something like that.
It plays it off.
And then they go, and he's going the other way on the highway.
Yeah.
And then people, I think that's another funny part.
That one was pretty
going
good.
the wrong way.
How do they know where we're going?
That
Yeah,
was the funny
you're
part.
right.
Come on. Thank you. Oh.
They
But they-
gotta kill somebody. The whole time. Oh my god! And then
And they keep showing the 2 trucks
trucks
coming.
coming, who are dangerously driving.
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that anyway. So
And-
then they go in between them, and he sees the devil, Randy
And that-
Official,
Oh my god! Because it's the skeletons
and
the
the
lights left,
skeletons,
and he turns over and he's the devil,
and
like a dollar store costume.
I love
too.
how the skeleton has a mustache like Dell.
Oh
It's
my God.
great, Randy Official.
And he's just laughing the whole time. Oh my god!
And then he tries throwing a cigarette. He had before tried throwing a cigarette butt out of the window, and it blew into the back window, and that's
Caught
why the whole
fire.
car catches on fire. Which leads to another funny part when they're at the hotel, and Neal's like, "Oh, I have this." They're all burnt to a crisp, credit cards.
But as the car's burning, he just starts laughing. He's
Yeah.
like, haha, it finally happens to you. How did you get that car? He's like, oh, I traded some shower rings for it. But you can't rent a car on shower.
Yeah.
And there it goes. There's his credit card's burnt up. And he trades $38 and a nice watch.
And a nice watch, yeah.
And he's like, well, I got $2
And not so nice watch.
And a Casio.
and a Casio.
Casio.
Uh,
At least
this
that
is the
room has
moment
2
that
beds.
has 2 beds, yeah. And they get drunk and have the peanuts and stuff. In the
Yeah, all
room.
the snacks he's got.
And that's really a good moment to have because the entire time John Candy's been nothing but very nice,
Yeah,
and now Steve Martin gets to kind of
right. Because
repay
he
that.
was going to sleep in the car.
Yeah, he left him out there.
That was another good part when right after they stop going between the two trucks, and his hands, he pulls them out of the thing.
So yeah, I mean, it's a great moment to have there. Makes him relatable, makes him likable.
Yep.
Because in this entire time, because every time he's like, I don't want to keep traveling with you, it hurts him. You can see that it's hurting John Candy.
Because he's alone.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened. What happened, Tom? Why is he alone?
Well, Marie, I did it again. I pushed someone out. I thought he left her, or she left him. But at that point, I was
dead.
like, I thought she was dead. He said that, and I was like, oh, did she leave him? Or is he just that annoying?
Well, she did leave him.
Yeah.
Forever. What about his kids?
He never had kids.
He says, my kids like me.
Yeah, you're right. He does. I don't know.
Well, no, he said my clients like me.
I swear, I thought he said.
No,
my
Peter
wife likes
says
me.
my kids.
Okay.
Oh.
He says my wife likes me. My clients like me. Peter says my kids.
All right.
Which
Spoiler: she's dead.
Yeah, she died 8 years ago.
Yeah. So I think that's all. And when he says I haven't been home in years, I think he's just traveling around.
He just doesn't want to go home.
Yeah, he doesn't go home, and he gets on a plane, travels around, sells some shower curtain rings, gets more money to just keep living like that, like a bohemian.
Yeah, well, yeah, he probably. Well, because he's sitting there, because he doesn't leave. He doesn't. They.
Yeah, right.
The,
with the
bus
subway.
Stop. Is that where it is?
Yeah,
subway?
well,
He's like,
elevated
why are you
train.
Still here?
Yeah.
It's like she's dead, man.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to go.
And that's the part when Steve Martin's driving in the train to go home, and that smile, he's reminiscing basically about all the bad times he just had and laughing about it now because it's over.
Right.
And then he realizes I haven't been home in years and all that stuff, and he comes back and sees him just sitting there in front of Tom, a cellular phone thing. There is an ad for an old style cellular phone behind him, and if they had just had that, everything would have been. The whole movie would have been 10 minutes long.
I like how they.
Yeah, this movie could not happen in.
It could.
It could.
2024.
Oh, my phone fell in the lake.
If you don't have a cell phone, yeah.
Oh.
Well, and it probably would work even better because. Do you have any friends in low places you can ask for a ride somewhere?
Not across the country.
Exactly. So
Dell does.
And
he's
that's
a hell of
something
a salesman too.
He really is. They have
a
whole
montage of him selling them in the terminal. Yeah,
people are
earrings.
Buying, well, I mean, I get it. That's a movie, but like he's really selling them.
Yeah.
Like these people don't know they're filled with helium. So
later. Or this is some kind of ivory.
Yeah.
They're plastic.
It's all just shower curtain rings. I love that. He's got his little billfold with the little mini ones in there. I thought that was hilarious. So you get in the truck, get home, get on the train again, go home, pick him up, go home.
Right.
And it ends on a nice note, kind of like driving home the point of like it's not about the destination but the journey,
right?
And the friends you made along the way. Kind of, it's a man. I really don't want to describe it as like a generic movie.
No, but it's a road movie.
Yeah,
it's a genre.
Yeah, and but it's
not generic.
It's not
a genre.
It's a genre. It's a genre movie. And I just think it just excels at everything. Like it's a great family movie.
It really is. And even the F word parts.
It's funny.
You could, if you had to, cut that out, but your kids would be going nuts if they saw that.
They'd laugh at it.
And they're not going to be hurt by it.
No. And it's not done in a hurtful way.
Or gratuitous way.
Right. It is gratuitous because it's 18 times.
You're right.
But it's not in a way that's like
everything leads right up to that.
Yes.
Of course he did that. And of course she said that right back to him because she's not living his life.
I don't like your attitude. I don't like the way you're talking to me. So we got it. We do get a happy ending, and they are able to celebrate Thanksgiving, albeit a couple days late.
Yeah, and the parents and his wife are familiar too. Like you were saying before with the roulette wheel, they're all you would recognize them.
Right.
I don't remember who his dad was, but when I was like, oh, that's so and so when he gets home, and now I forgot. So who cares?
Wife was being a bit dramatic this whole time in this movie.
You know, because it's kind of like she's suspicious of what he's doing.
I think she's just let down, and women don't like to be let down. She's got all this thing planned. She's got her in-laws probably already there. She's dealing with everything.
And the daughter's pageant.
In the pageant that
stuff.
he missed,
Fair.
and now she's got to deal with that.
You don't.
Also, she only has like 10 seconds of screen time each time.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't develop plot.
You know,
with
I
that.
do think it's kind of funny, though, that, like, he's like, I got stuck in here. I'm at a motel. And she acts like he's being scandalous.
Yeah.
But in all reality, he's stuck in this motel with John Candy.
Yeah.
And a massage bed.
Just shook up the beers. I'm sleeping in a puddle of beer.
God,
God,
it was supposed to be, most of it was supposed to be shot in Chicago, obviously, because of John Hughes, but there was not enough snow. So they filmed a lot of it over in Buffalo.
Ah, look at that.
Yeah.
This movie also showcases what I like to call the New York shot. Any movie set in New York has this shot where you've got your main character in this sea of people walking down the street.
Yep.
They all have it.
Yep.
And
It's cool.
it is. Not every New York movie has it, but every movie featuring New York City does.
Right.
And
Yeah, I don't think it's in Sid and Nancy.
right. I don't know if it's in Goodfellas,
Right.
but it's everywhere.
Also, go
If
ahead.
New York is the place, it's there.
Right. And they're going to show you're like basically lost in a sea of people.
Right.
And that's really, I think it looks cool every time.
Every time.
Yeah. Elton John and a lyricist named Gary Osborne, I don't know who he is, wrote the theme song to this movie. And they were finishing it up. What's a production company? Did I even write it down? Paramount. Paramount insisted on having total control of the rights. They would own the rights to the song. And Elton John told them to go pound sand, and it was never finished.
Wow.
I would love to hear that, though.
I would love to hear an Elton John Planes, Trains, and Automobile.
I think it'd be cool.
It would have really, I mean, and really, I'm not trying to put this movie down, but it would have gone that next level.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little next level, too.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to know that. So I wouldn't expect to hear Elton John singing a song in it.
Right.
It would be very cool.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles isn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It is not.
You know.
At all.
And
it's not Tommy Boy.
No.
That, obviously you could have seen Tommy Boy before you've seen this now.
Right.
But like Road to Wherever with Bing Crosby and Bob Hope, it's none of those movies either.
But I think that Elton John stuff would have put it more.
Yeah, it would have made it a little more special.
Yeah.
I think.
Because it's such a home run of a movie.
I think it is.
I love it.
It really is. It's a great movie.
They went to Wichita, Kansas. That's
that's where it was. Wichita.
But Steve Martin apparently he was convinced to join the production after 2 scenes. The car seat adjustment scene, he loved that.
Huh.
And then he also the F word tirade.
Right. Yeah.
That's the one. He was like, I
He
got.
really fought to keep it in there too. But go ahead.
Oh no, you please.
Mine's lengthy.
Well, I got just some trivia on here, like the 707 plane. That you see the exterior of it.
Yes, is the
it's
airplane plane. Yeah.
Which I don't know if Randy's seen that movie. Have you seen that movie, Airplane?
I've seen parts of it. I haven't finished it.
You've
You'd
seen
probably
parts
like
of it on Family Guy.
No, I have actually seen
You've
it.
probably seen the
Like,
whole thing
parts
on
of it.
Family.
Where the
Every
dude-
single one of those jokes.
Where the dude is like telling a story and then everybody kills himself as soon as he tells it.
And the one where the woman's hysterical.
Yeah.
and,
Snap out of it.
Yeah, and please, Doctor, you want it on the phone. All that.
Oh my god. Well, so what's wrong with her? I don't know. I can't say. You can tell me.
Or well, they got to take him to the hospital. Hospital, what is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
Or I want you both to know that we're both counting.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to do that at work sometime just to freak people out because I know they've never seen it.
And, oh my god, this movie's so funny.
It is. It's great. I love that movie.
I've not seen the sequel.
It's stupid. It's not as good.
Figured that's probably what it is, and I just.
It's worth watching because it's Airplane 2 and William Shatner's in it and Sonny
really?
Bono. And it's a space shuttle that's supposed to be going to the moon and it accidentally is going to the sun. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Steve Martin talked in an interview about his late co-star John Candy and the similarities to the character.
Right.
But he also said that John Candy had a whole bunch of exercise equipment
Yeah.
that he
I read
required to
that.
be all in his hotel room that he didn't touch
Not once.
once.
I wonder if he did it just as a joke, or he's like, I'm gonna get
do
fit, and just never did. I'm tired.
So I kind of want to talk about John Hughes with this movie. And I noticed this. This movie isn't particularly shot very well. It's not directed exemplary. It's not even the sound design isn't like amazing. All those things that you would usually critique about a movie, they're all standard.
Yeah.
I found. But there's something about the way his movies are, I don't know, written or edited.
I think it's
where
both of those, but mostly editing too.
They're just full of like whimsy, and they're full of what was that other word I wrote down? Timelessness.
Yeah.
That it's just captivating.
Yeah.
Like,
it really is.
If you took any one of these movies he makes, take The Breakfast Club, you take Farris Bueller's, you take this, you take 16 Candles, none of them are shot like how Blue Velvet was. You're not looking at any of them like, oh my God, look at this composition, look at the way the light reflects, look at how it's all colored in a certain way. There's none of that.
Right.
But still, you are in. And it's something to be said about how
I think it's the acting too. The acting and the editing.
It's all
is just
like
it's
a fly on the wall. Like you're watching.
Yeah, you're kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels real.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody there. I haven't seen a bad performance in any of his movies. Every single person, and this is he is an actor's director. I want to say because he knows how to get exactly what he's looking for. Exactly, because none of them are the same either. Cameron from Farris Beauler is nothing like anybody in The Breakfast Club.
Right.
None of those people are anything like anybody in 16 Candles. Well, I mean, the one dude might be, because it's the same actor and he's kind of nerdy.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not, what's his name, Griswold.
No. And it just goes to show you that you don't need to be Martin Scorsese. You don't need to be Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
You can just do textbook good stuff.
If you're doing it and if you're coming across in it, like this is, it's not Howard Hughes. John Hughes.
I do that all the time. Too.
It's Howard Hughes, and David Lynch's movies are David Lynch. Steven Spielberg. There's a lot of not flashy stuff in Steven Spielberg movies. No, but you can always feel like Steven Spielberg, and John Hughes movies has a feel.
So, and I, in the back of my head, knew this was a John Hughes movie, just probably because I've seen it before. But this entire time, I'm like, this is a John Hughes movie. I didn't look anything up. I just was watching it. Because I was like, well, this shot is something like I would see in other stuff he does. The way the music is here, how it's set up, how we're edited, how you'll take a wide shot of just the highway. Yeah. Or you've got, your angle is right on the, I love this shot, right on the water. And you've got the train tracks and the trees above it. This is not beautiful. This is not a beautiful location to anybody in Hollywood. But to people who have walked down to a creek, and there was an old train track there, and you played in the water, it brings you home. There's a sense of bringing you home in all of his stuff.
Yeah, and one of the things I was seeing about this, they called it Americana, that he makes Americana movies, and I would agree with that.
I would too.
And you really feel like America.
And it makes you want to kind of do it too.
Yeah.
Take a bus across America, meet these people, go to these diners, to have this experience too, because it's so big and vast that like everywhere you go is going to be different.
Right.
That's something that, especially with how everything works in the world, you've got all this old architecture in like Paris and stuff like that. America being so new
compared to that, yeah.
Compared to that, has so much potential of just experiencing things you've never even seen before.
Yeah, and then all the stuff that was here before there was America.
Yeah.
That you could check out.
It's all still there. Like, even like, maybe that's why I like, because it's not, I don't know if he's got a second unit who's maybe shooting out, because it's not anything
I didn't watch
big.
the credits.
Oh yeah, it's not anything big. It's just a shot from the water up at the trains. It's not, you wouldn't have had everybody there. It's probably one guy with the camera.
Right.
And who just happened to capture when a train was going by.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And probably because the original cut was 4 hours, so.
It was probably chocked full of this stuff.
Yeah.
And still, it feels like John Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like warmth. There's a warmth to it.
Yeah.
You know, like there's, and like, this is the nerd in me. I can talk about stuff like this all day. You don't need, like, so Steven Spielberg works really well with John Williams in creating an overwhelming, mystical, dreamlike, fantastical environment. You feel like these worlds are real, and you get to come into them. Where John Hughes feels like we're in our world and we get to experience it together, kind of thing, you know. And it's just so simple. It's like an apple pie.
Yeah, it is simple.
It's like your mom's apple pie. It's anybody can do it, but this one's your mom's.
Right.
And it's
you know it.
Great every time. Because I mean, I'm obviously going to recommend this movie to everybody.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
I would recommend it to anybody, even with the F word part.
Yeah. So would I be, and it's worth it, you know.
Yeah, it is.
It's even for like a younger audience, like they're going on this trip too, and they get to have that laugh and that experience too. It's worth it, you know. It's a good family movie, and I really, and I'm sorry, Randy, you didn't enjoy it as much as we did.
I didn't hate it, but I was.
You'll like it better the next time you see it.
I was expecting.
I guarantee it.
Funnier.
You
You'll
went
see
into
the
this movie the
jokes more,
same
too.
way I went into Blue Velvet.
Yeah,
you were
probably.
expecting something and didn't get it out of it. Watch it again.
I only
bet you'll like it.
expected it because
of
I
who it
saw
is.
them. I
Yeah.
technically
We'll
didn't know
watch it
this
next
movie was
Thanksgiving.
this movie.
Uh,
Funny thing, I was watching it and like I was on the last 15 minutes and Sarah got home and I was just watching. I said, "Oh, this is for the podcast," and she's like, "I'm not interested." So I was like, "All right, it's almost over."
well, I think she would like it too. Well, I don't know what.
It was the
kind of movie she
last
watches.
15. Like it was probably the train scene.
Yeah, that's the last.
Yeah.
That's the last stretch. But anyway, I digress. I think this movie's fantastic. I would like to see a movie like this redone with 2 different kind of comedians.
2 odd couple put together.
But I would like to see it on the stage. I think this would be awesome.
It could
Like
work.
John
Pretty sure.
Mulaney
Play.
and Shane Gillis.
Yeah, that would
That
work.
would actually be pretty good.
That would be
would
very good. John Mulaney and a lot of different people would be fine because he
Yeah.
would be the stuck-up one.
Yeah.
He really, that's kind of who he is.
And
too.
you could let him write some of it too, like
Yeah.
on the spot, all that kind of stuff. That guy is
100%.
hilarious.
But instead of like remaking this into a movie, I think this would be a really cool like play. You know, because you can. Why? And I'll tell you why. Because of what I just said about John Hughes. Anybody else behind that camera is not going to give you that same feel.
Yeah. Well, you would, if you remade this movie, call it something else.
Right.
And don't bill it as the new planes, trains, and automobiles, even though the same kind of things are happening,
Right.
and people will compare it to it. Do your own thing.
Do your own thing. And
Inspired by.
I think having it be a stage production would be the best way to do it. I mean, like, look at they took The Wizard of Oz, threw that on the stage, created Wicked, and that was a huge thing. You know,
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is they remade Beetlejuice, and it's a musical, huge. Everybody loves it. You know, like I know it's kind of a dying art, but like the theater is a great place for a movie like this. Like them,
Yeah, because it's people talking mostly.
right?
They're in a train. They're on a plane.
And
They're
you-
on a
and-
boat. They're
and
with a goat.
You welcome like visionaries who can really mold things.
Yeah, another thing you could do is get a bunch of anecdotes from people about what worst travel things that happened to them and stick them right in there.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure whatever your travel thing is,
Isn't-
somebody else has had one that's very similar.
Right.
Like a lot of this stuff, like losing your wallet or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Well, because like how you were saying, like people got cell phones today, so how would you adapt the story to adjust for that?
Right.
Because if you're lost in the middle of Missouri, there's no payphone. They took all
Not
them out.
anymore.
So you can't call home.
Also, name my number off the top of your head.
Name
Yeah,
your
that's
number.
another thing. He calls all the time when he's touching. He's got. But I used to, if you had a lot of phone numbers memorized
Yes,
just
you did.
all the time, and now I don't. I have two. One is because it's the card for the supermarket. I don't even know what mine is.
I even, and that's sad.
I mean, my card
I
phone number.
my phone number before this phone number was just 25 over and over again in different ways.
Oh, that's good.
I know
This one's not.
your
Right.
number because it's my old number. And
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I know 2527127.
I know that
Oh,
one
that's
too.
our
We
old
can't
one,
say that
yeah.
on the air.
But that's our.
Why not?
We don't even live there
Let me
anymore.
call it.
Well, it's a landline. It doesn't even work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And no area code.
Yeah, right. There you go.
But I remember that one
Yeah.
too. I kind of know mine. I don't really even know hers.
I remember
I know
mine.
your-
I don't
I know
know
my
my
wife's.
girlfriend's.
And it's you should know those things. You should
Yeah.
know at least your mom's. and your
Yeah,
yours.
one that could then
That's what I say.
branch out and help you.
Yeah.
I know you.
But yeah, like nowadays on your phone, you could book and pay for a
A hotel.
hotel,
A plane, a train,
Rent the car,
food.
The whole thing is
They'll
all.
bring you your
right
food
here.
to the middle of nowhere now.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah,
It's so I think taking away your phone would.
that would be the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have to do it a different way. And like now, Owen is handing you your pizza. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because even if your phone died, are you going to ask a stranger to use theirs? Or are you going to be kind of uncomfortable and don't want to do it?
Right, and it doesn't matter. You don't know the number. And
but
who's going to answer? I don't know that
I don't
number.
know that number.
I would
And
call
that's
him
what
twice.
I'm saying. Like it puts you in this this strange new world.
Yeah.
There you go. Call
Yeah.
it that.
Yeah,
Call it
strange new world. America, a strange new world.
But anyway, that's all I've got to say about planes, trains,
All
and
right.
automobiles.
You ready?
I think I am.
All right, you know what 7 steps to Kevin Bacon is?
Yes,
Do you know what it is?
I do.
I've heard this.
Kevin Bacon's in so many movies that anybody who's in any movie can be getting
Linked
back
back.
to Kevin Bacon in 7 steps.
Yeah.
Or 6 steps. It's 6 steps. Because of the movie 6 Steps of Separation, they said 6 steps of Kevin Bacon. So this movie is like kind of a doorway into getting old school people in. And I'm talking from the beginning of film. Because Kevin, all right, Sidney Greenstreet, can you make movies? You know how this works? All right, shoot. Well, all right, so I'll just do it. Sidney Greenstreet. I have to get from Sidney Greenstreet to Kevin Bacon in less than 6 movies.
Yeah.
So Sidney Greenstreet is in The Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart.
Mhm.
Humphrey Bogart's in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid with Steve Martin. Steve Martin's in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
So and then this is kind of the if you could get to this one and then Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, you could do everybody who's ever been in a movie. So what they're saying about Kevin Bacon and all this stuff, and I guess you could probably do it with any other actor, but let's stick with Kevin Bacon because he's cool.
Yeah.
And there you go. This one and JFK. I think those are the 2 big ones. Those are the ones I always use. But this one, I just thought this. I was thinking this at work. I'm like, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid opens up like Peter Lorre or you know what I mean, Mary Astor. Nobody knows who Mary Astor is now, or probably Peter Lorre. But bam, you could easily do it.
You could.
And she was in a lot of before talkies, silent film.
films.
So, bam,
Mm-hmm.
you got a lot of stuff.
Whole bunch. You do it with Lon Chaney.
What's that in Slimer's mouth?
Yeah, what's that in Slimer's mouth?
Well, so that in Slimer's Mouth is a recognition award of our first 100 subscribers.
Woo!
We are now approaching
yeah, baby.
We are now approaching 300 people tuning
All
in to
right.
this podcast.
Good job,
on
people.
YouTube. I've also was checking our analytics. We are having a following on Spotify and Apple. So please, if you like listening to podcasts, we are everywhere you want to listen to.
Everywhere.
We
Everywhere.
are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Audible. We are even on Amazon and Audacity, which I didn't know was a podcasting platform. Listen
Me
notes,
neither.
we're there too. We're everywhere. You just go on Google, go www.thegrindhousepodcast.com. We're even on our own website.
Yeah, you could watch it there.
I upload them every single week. And you can also check out our merch.
Right
which
at the
is
website.
Pretty cool. We've got shirts, we've got hats, and we've got posters, coffee cups, magnets, and stickers. Anything you could ever want. It's all there exclusively on the website. Also, this is our Thanksgiving episode. So we're
that's
wishing
right.
you a happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy.
And comment on, especially
Talk
on
to
YouTube,
us,
because I
'cause
look
we
at
wanna
YouTube
hear
a lot, and I'll comment back.
He will.
And if we got something wrong, or
you just want to throw in your opinion.
or your 7 steps to Kevin Bacon,
Oh yeah, do that, please. That'd be so fun. We'll if you do your 7 steps to Kevin Bacon, we will do an episode going through not only yours but ours as well.
okay,
I think
that sounds
that'd be a
cool.
lot of fun. I think that might be this year's or this season's
I
finale.
was gonna ask you about that earlier, and I forgot.
Because doing a ranking list of this season's movies is gonna be real hard with
Yeah, forget
some
about
of
it.
the absolute greatest movies of all time.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
Lord.
we didn't do one like. Well, you didn't really care for Blue Velvet, you said at first, but I think by the time we were done talking
yeah, I
about
did.
it, you'd like it.
But we've also
But like,
got,
there's no Wasp Woman so far.
no, there isn't. All of these movies, surprisingly, have been
Yeah, top
not
tier.
terrible.
Yeah, we got to get some more of them in there.
Some of the bad ones. Go
Yeah,
back to the
well,
B-movies.
Ones that we haven't seen, and are cult movies.
I have a wad of exactly that.
Nice.
I've got box sets on box sets of just 100 sci-fi movies.
Oh yeah, those
Whatever
would
they
be
can
good.
get their hands on. They
Yeah.
threw on. That's where I watched The Wasp Woman. We
Oh,
should
is it?
do, Yes, it
Yeah.
is. We should do The Lost World, not the Jurassic Park movie.
The
The silent
30s
film,
one.
yeah, because that's actually got a cool history about it too.
Mm.
We can do that Peter Cushing movie I got, the terror horror one.
Yeah.
That one.
I was watching part of. What is it called? Murder. Shoot.
Murders of the Rue Morgue.
Murder was the case that
no,
they
no. This
gave me.
guy, he's a writer, and somebody says I could do this in a day,
Mhm.
and they're like, well, I'll tell you. And then he goes to some crazy old abandoned house. This is in England, and it's got Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in it. I haven't seen all of it yet. What the hell is it called?
You're
Murder
talking
by
about-
Death or
I'm
something?
talking about the house
The House.
with the long shadows.
Yes. Yeah, The House of the Long Shadows.
It's got
That's it.
it's got Vincent Price.
Yeah,
in
and
it, too.
Vincent Price too. I haven't
And
gotten
a-
to where they are in it
And
yet.
a weird secret in
Yeah.
that house too.
All right, I'll finish watching it because it's boring right now.
Next season or for a little episode, we should do you guys critique and watch my short films.
Yeah, I remember I said that last time you mentioned that we would do a short film one.
Hey Randy,
Give me 1 second.
I will do that. I've also made a couple shorts,
Yeah, we'll do that.
so I
Yeah.
think that'd be really fun to do. We just you
We
know
just
what?
lost
we can
video
do
for-
that.
3.
We lost video for 5 seconds, just so you know.
Oh, that's fine. Because I can always fix that. Because we're going on an hour now.
Yeah.
And
Let's
I've
wrap
been
it up.
watching that. I've got a Twitch, so we can live stream this.
That'd be
I
fun.
think that'd be a lot of fun.
Because we own the rights to our own thing, so
Well, yeah, we do.
we
Well, I
could
mean,
just-
I got some copywritten music in mind.
I think
I might have it as well.
I think also like because I would pick some off of YouTube that I think people should watch, and anybody who's going to have a problem with me promoting their short film,
I don't think
kiss my
anybody's
ass.
Gonna,
You know what I
think
mean?
anybody
It's
will.
on site.
yeah, they're not going
Period.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're talking about your movie,
to. Yeah,
you know, and we don't talk.
And
we don't hate on stuff, so you're not.
we try not to. We try to be honest.
Yeah,
And if I'm saying you should watch these, I'm going to be the one saying I like it.
absolutely.
But yeah, that's for the future. We should definitely do that.
We should. That'd be a lot of fun. But also on the track of like these B movies and stuff like that, The Land That Time Forgot. That was somebody, one of you, glorious cult.
Oh yeah,
members
right. It was a
told us we
suggestion.
should watch that.
Same with the Wasp Woman and the Black Scorpion.
Yeah. So please, I mean,
Go for it.
we will, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And we'll be honest about it and upfront about it, like the Black Scorpion.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be one of the worst movies ever made.
Love it.
We loved it. The Land That Time Forgot. People loved that.
Yeah.
We didn't really care for it. So, like, we're not just going to always boast them up, but we're not going to rip them down either.
Yeah, it's just going to be what we really think.
It is. And that's what we said in the beginning.
That's
we're,
the whole
we're
point.
the real article. We're the real deal. I am Cheese Film.
And Hecubus.
Randy Official.
And this has been the Grindhouse Podcast.
Bye.